How's it going today, everybody? It's been a while since I made a video, but today we got some news about the new Xbox Series S and Series X. So, we've known from leaks so far that there are going to be two new Xboxes, the Series X and the Series S, and we've actually got look at both consoles now, and the design choice is very different for the S and the X. We already got a look at the Series X before they made an official announcement, and there were a lot of comments about how it looked like an air purifier and stuff like that, a router, refrigerator, stuff like that. And now we've gotten a look at the Series S, which is more comparable to like the One X, but it's got like what looks like a big speaker built into it, and I guess that's the exhaust port. Hopefully that'll keep it from overheating. Maybe it'll be the perfect place to cook marshmallows over top of the Xbox. And the big reveal, though, that leaked, and Xbox has more or less confirmed this, is the Xbox Series S, which will be slightly more powerful than the current Series X, will be $299, which is crazy cheap. That's basically the price of a Nintendo Switch, which it has a significant amount more power, but Nintendo's kind of its own thing now. And with the launch of xCloud bundled with Game Pass, a lot of people have been speculating that the Xbox Series S is basically a Game Pass box, which isn't a bad marketing strategy because Game Pass is easily right now the best value for gaming. You get a lot of variety. You don't have to worry about games coming and going, especially first party titles. There are a lot of good things on there. If you haven't tried out Game Pass, I highly recommend it. You can get a lot of promos and stuff. I've seen stuff like get it for a month for $1, stuff like that. I personally have it, and I find it to be great, especially bundling it with the Microsoft Rewards program, which is a part of like Bing Rewards. You can actually earn money. You can earn gift cards and stuff. You can buy games by playing games, which is pretty much the dream for any gamer. And so Game Pass is definitely a good value, and I feel like this is the model that Microsoft is going to be pushing, and that's kind of been confirmed with the fact that the new Series S and X have financing options, which is interesting. If you've ever seen like the rent-to-own places, you can always get like the new Xbox or new PlayStation on those, and they're kind of predatory, take advantage of people. But with this, you can do it through the first party. It's similar to like if you're familiar with AT&T Next, where like you can get your newest smartphone as it comes out. You can continuously upgrade what you're using as time goes on, and that's pretty cool. It helps people out who can't afford that upfront cost. I believe if you do the math on what their financing option is, it's pretty, reasonable rate, which is good. Microsoft isn't being too greedy with this. Then the Xbox Series X, the leaked price for it, and it's less confirmed, it's less solid, is $499, about $500, so $200 more. But this one's supposed to be the most powerful console of the generation, more powerful than the PlayStation 5 is supposed to be by a little bit, I guess. And that's a pretty good price. For those that remember, that's what the Xbox One X launched at. And up until recently, they were selling them for $300. So That's only been, I believe, 2 years now. Imagine paying $500 for something, and then the price dropping in 2 years, $200. Like, that's like 40% of your price dropped just 2 years after you got it. But I mean, that's kind of how smartphones are too, anyway. 2 years after you get a new smartphone, it's basically a worthless piece of garbage compared to everybody else. So there's some fear that that's kind of what Microsoft's going to be doing here. That they might constantly, like every year, maybe not every year, but like every other year, release a new version of the Xbox Series. I think they kind of painted themselves into a corner, though, because you got S and X. So where are you going to go for there? Y, Z, Xbox Series X, 2, 3, X. It's going to get ridiculous. But there's some fear for that because their business model's a little more comparable to Nintendo's, who anybody who's purchased Nintendo consoles or anything recently knows that like Nintendo constantly does different iterations. The Switch is actually like one of the few examples in modern times where they've only done like one version. You got like the Switch and the Switch Lite. I think there was like a leak that there was supposed to be like a Switch Premium version, but I'm not sure if that actually came out yet. I'm not a big Nintendo person, but anyway, so the Switch is they haven't done that much, but like you got that, the 3DS, the 3DS XL, the 3DS Lite, the DS Lite. There were so many freaking DSs, but they just keep iterating, and the 2DS, yeah. There were a bunch of them, and there's some kind of concern that that's going to be what we see here with the Xbox. So I made a video not too long ago talking about what I thought the price was going to be, and I think I estimated somewhere between $450 to $500, and so, I think I hit right around the ballpark. Now, the Series X was going to be like the more powerful one that you're going to want to get if like you don't have good internet and you can't do like xCloud. And that's going to be for your Xbox stans, your Xbox like fanboys, those are going to be the only people that are going to get an Xbox One X at launch, because as many people have said, if you have a decent computer like I have, there's no point. Most of the decent games for Xbox is you got on PC. But I want to point out something. Game Pass for PC does not have everything Game Pass on Xbox has. I would like that to be true, but it is definitely not. There are a ton of games on Game Pass that you can't play on PC. So I've noticed a lot of people talking about like, well, everything you can play on Xbox, you can play on PC. And that's not necessarily true. It is true in the sense that, like, there is an option to buy it on PC. But it's not necessarily true that, like, Game Pass PC gives you everything that Game Pass on Xbox does, because that is not true. And, but there are good options even for, Game Pass for PC. And I think what remains to be seen, what will make or break the Xbox Series X and Series S, this generation of consoles, how well it does. Because everybody knows that Xbox right now, their biggest problem is games. And with, the virus and everything, games are probably going to be behind in development. And Sony has always done good about first-party titles and encouraging development on these great single-player, story-focused games. And That's where I find it really difficult, because like I normally gravitate more towards Xbox for my family because it's a more affordable option. But PlayStation definitely has the games I personally like to play. And so I think what's going to be the biggest point is, what price is Sony going to set the PlayStation 5? The ball's in their court now. The Series X has leaked. We pretty much know what we're dealing with. We know it's launching in November. So, Sony, what's your game? Are you going to match the $499 on the Series X? Because I think if they do, if we're seeing PlayStation 5 $499, Series X $499, Sony's going to kill it. Because it's a no-brainer. If you want the quality of games, people are going to go with PlayStation. If they go any lower than that, they're probably going to destroy Xbox this generation. If they go any higher, you're looking at it getting real iffy. Because, a lot of people don't have a lot of extra money to spend. I know here in America, they're kind of up in the air on another stimulus package. People love to get gifts for Christmas, but this Christmas might be pretty rough for a lot of people. A lot of people have lost their jobs. Some of that job loss might be permanent this year. It's a dangerous situation. A lot of people lost loved ones. Some people, with what the world's been like this year, some people just might not care about video games anymore, or might. All this time spent inside, they might decide that they're not going to sit inside anymore. They're not going to play games once the pandemic is over, and they're going to get outside and do stuff. Cabin fever. So it might. Right now, the industry's doing great, but maybe like everybody going stir crazy after all this, the industry might take a pretty big nosedive. So, I think right now, ball's in Sony's court. Xbox Series X, $499. Most powerful console with the least amount of games. Well, flagship games. You're going to get your Game Pass games. And I'm just going to say it. I love State of Decay 2. I'm excited for State of Decay 3, see what the studio does. I'm excited for Fable. But, Xbox doesn't have a good track record for games. So, are we going to see... How long are we going to be waiting for a game? That was the biggest thing that killed the Nintendo Switch for me. It was like, I'm not going to buy a $300 console just so I could play Legend of Zelda. And then, of course, more games came out for it later on. But, it's hard to sell people on one game. It's not hard to sell people on, why would you buy a new Xbox to play Game Pass games when you can play the exact same games on your current Xbox if you have it? And nobody who doesn't have a current gen Xbox really has any incentive to buy an Xbox, because right now the biggest incentive for buying the new Xbox generation is that you don't have to worry about losing your games. You get to keep all your games going forward, and that's a huge advantage. Your library goes with you. It's basically like upgrading your PC. You just, your storefronts re-download all your stuff. The ball's in Sony's court. Let's see what happens with that. Are they going to try to oversell it? Are they going to try to say, well, we have this proprietary SD, we have all these games, so ours is going to be $600. I think that's kind of shooting themselves in the foot. I think Sony's best option is go with $499 price tag. I think they could probably pull off $550, but that would just be kind of milking it for more than it's worth. If Xbox can sell theirs for 500 and it's more powerful, Sony can easily sell theirs for 500. But Sony has always been a little more greedy when it comes to the money, especially on hardware. So, we'll find out. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.